Have you been wanting to launch your own business, but you're too scared to make the plunge? Me and my guest today felt exactly the same way when we first started, and we're going to show you some really quick tactics that you can use to get the courage to take the leap and to set a progress path that is going to make you successful going forward. I am so excited to introduce my guests today, Marco Arevalo and Lauren Granger. So welcome, guys, to the show. You have successfully made the leap in the Medicare space from working as employees to owning your own businesses, and not just owning them, thriving, owning it, loving it every step of the way. So I'm just excited to have you guys on. So tell me everything. Lauren, why don't you introduce yourself, tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Sure. My name is Lauren Granger. I have been in this Medicare realm since 2009. So I don't know, what is that, 17 years, I think?
A long time. I'm trying to count.
Very long time. I make a joke when I give seminars and I say I'm like an encyclopedia when it comes to things Medicare, but it's the truth, as we all are. But
This thing dinner parties, right?
yes, but I love what I do. I love the fact, I love the fact that the requirements to offer this keep my brain working, because between the testing, certifications, etc., it's just good to know. And then I get to help people, and that's just it's great when you get to be compensated nicely as well as helping people at the same time.
Doing good and doing well, right? At the same time, which is fantastic. So, hey, Mark, same question for you. Introduce yourself, who you are, what do you do?
Hello, thank you for inviting me. My name is Marco Arevalo. I'm the owner of Medihealth Options, and yeah, we help people with the Medicare once you're turning 65 and all that good stuff that goes along with it. I guide them through the process of actually applying for, or if they need to apply for the Medicare. Yeah, and like Lauren said, I'll touch on that, is helping people is just great, even if sometimes we don't get compensated. I have a feeling that I need to help them anyway, because if you don't do it, then who else will?
100%. Well, I mean, what a great business that we're in. And obviously, it attracts really caring people that are invested in their communities and want to give back. It's nice when you can turn that into a successful business as well. So now I've known you guys for a long time. You had a carrier career, right? As a lot of people do that listen to my show, particularly because I had that same carrier experience for years and then went independent and launched my business and so forth. One of the things that I talk about all the time with people who are looking to make the leap is, how do I make the leap? How do I get the courage to do it? Because I'm in an industry where I'm paid pretty well to be an employee, right? Not maybe as great as I could produce on my own, but well and stable and steady. I've got insurance benefits. I have leads coming in without me having to self-generate all of the activity. What gave you the courage to take the leap? So share a little bit about that. Maybe Lauren, you can touch on that.
Yeah, so I think being a W-2 or 9 to 5, whatever we want to call it, and recreating that as your own business is something that's extremely scary, especially when you are receiving a salary, so you know how much money you're going to make at bare minimum every week or 2 weeks, having the benefits, the health insurance benefits, and also getting the perks like having a computer, having a cell phone. So I think it's something that I wanted to do many, many years prior to me actually doing it. I was in a situation where I was kind of forced to do it, but they say there's a silver lining in everything. And it was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me, because it's scary. You don't want to lose the security, because as much as we want to say we want to bet on ourselves, it's a lot harder than saying it and doing it are two completely different things. So it was an easy transition because of the people that I surrounded myself with, specifically you two. But it's something that I say it was, if not one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Fantastic. I wish you had done it sooner. I saw what I always tell myself, why did I do this like 30 years ago? But it takes a lot of courage, and sometimes the universe opens up and gives us that push that we need to get started. Mark, what about for you?
I mean, I'm newer in the Medicare industry. I've been doing insurance field since like 2008. But the Medicare was new. I learned how to pick it up. I remember I mirrored Lauren for a couple of days, and I said, "Oh my God, how do you keep all that information in your head?" And I fast forward to now, and okay, now I get it.
Encyclopedias over there in New York.
Once you love what you do, I mean, it's just it comes out very genuine. People instantly they pick that up and they're like, all right, I want that person, you know. And exactly what Laura said is one of those things where people, when they're thinking of becoming independent, it's like that. They're like, oh yeah, one day, but that one day never comes around to until we decided to do that. And wow, I mean, looking back, I'm just happier. My life is happier. Yeah, my even my customers, I tend to have more time for them instead of getting that rush, because we have, things to,
Specific
think
metrics to
about.
meet your goal to meet. It's on you to run the business the way you want to do it, which is amazing. Absolutely. So, I mean, we're making it sound really hearts and flowersy, because we're talking about the positive, but I think looking back, when you think back, it's been several years now since you made that transition. If you were to advise yourself on something that you wish you had known prior to jumping in, what would you say? And Mark, maybe you can start with this one. What do you think you wish you had known before you launched your own business?
I think more of which path to go straight into it instead of trying to figure out, oh, let me try this method or this method. Lauren and I, we have different methods as well as other people on our team where everyone finds the right one, but it took some time, like testing, oh, let me try this, let me try that. If I would have known that obviously this was, oh, let me try this from the beginning, it would have been different, but not necessarily better because at least we did experience what didn't work, and maybe we'll circle around to it in the future and maybe it will work later on.
Absolutely. Good advice. And Lauren, what about for you? If you were looking back, what do you wish you knew before you jumped into this?
So I think I take a lot of the same discipline that I had when I was an employee for one company, and I think this applies to whatever company, any company I've worked with. But something I just wish I would have done this sooner. So overall, I think I just wish I would have done this sooner because, letting the idea of not having a consistent means of income be the barrier between, but wait, if you are disciplined and organized and you treat it as if it's the same way you would, as if you had to report to someone, because you are just reporting to yourself now, you're going to succeed and you're going to, do even better. Like Mark was saying, we have more time. So at the time, I have two children now. So at the time, I only had one child. So I do wish I had known that now I have more free time to spend more time with my kids, do things like garden, which I love to do, renovate my house, even though I don't, home goods and buy things I don't need, just the time that got freed up. And I just wish I would have known that I don't want to use the word easy because it wasn't easy. You have to be disciplined, you have to be structured, but it definitely is doable. And I wish I would have known that I could have done this a lot sooner and not been as scared to take the leap.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny, Lauren, you mentioned discipline and structure. And so there's a reason not everybody does this, right? So people try to go independent and we all hear the stories, well, I went independent and that lasted 6 to 9 months and now I'm back at a job, right? Because I need that employed paycheck and so forth. Can you, both of you, share sort of your tips of the trade for that discipline and structure, the 2 or 3 specific things people can do to replicate a work environment as they run their own business to ensure that they stay on track? Lauren, maybe you could start on
I
that.
think something that I do is just going back to treating it as if it is a 9 to 5 or whatever those hours were that you were working. If you tell yourself that you're going to, whether it's go on appointments or be at a site or schedule phone appointments or whatever it is, meet with doctors, and you're going to start at 9 a.m. every day, it means you need to be out of the house at 9 a.m. every day, or you need to be in front of your computer at 9 a.m. every day. So I think creating a realistic schedule for yourself is first and foremost. And I would say also don't overpromise, for lack of a better explanation. If you know that you have the bandwidth to work 8 hours a day, 4 days a week, then do that and stick to that. And then if you do that fifth day, that's icing on the cake, because the more work that you put into this industry, the more you get out of it, the more people you get to help, the more you get compensated, because the more people you're able to enroll. So um, organization, discipline, structure. I think one of the reasons. So when I was working for a company and I was a field sales representative, I came in under you, Erin, and I came in with the expectation of, I forgot what it was called, like a spreadsheet where we had to jot down the amount of calls we made, the amount of appointments we went on, and what was the result of those appointments. And if we was there, nothing was left without a disposition. How many calls did we make? So to me, it was normal. That's just normal. That's how we do things. So when I transitioned from being a salaried employee to being a broker, that was just something that I do. That's just something.
Covered over those offices and didn't let it go just because nobody was making you do it.
Right, right. Because I know you need to do there's certain things you need to do to stay consistent. And I get unorganized. I can get unorganized too. Sometimes things aren't written down, and so I like to see it sometimes. But that's a gem that I would definitely share with anyone thinking about doing this. And again, a gem that I wish I would have known earlier on, because I would have made this transition a lot sooner than I did.
Mark, what would you add to that?
I think on top of that, maybe if you know that you're good at something in the morning, opposed to something in the afternoon or maybe early evening, try to figure that out and set your days for that. Sometimes I would set one day just returning calls, customer service, no sales at all, just helping everybody out. And that actually works, because once you get the word out to your clients, oh, look, I have Wednesday that I just, as an example, that I call everybody back. If I'm missing something, let me check on something for you. And they already know, oh, yeah, today's Wednesday. It gets into that repetitiveness, similar to like when you go to a corner store and you know they're closed on a Monday, you know you're not going to go there on a Monday. So I like that, where, okay, Mondays is maybe I check on app status. On the closer to noon, I start making the phone calls. And maybe once everything settles down towards the early evening or late afternoon, I'll visit a couple of doctor's offices where they're not as crammed and they're not just like, oh, yeah, come back later. Now they actually have time for you. So kind of like
What I'm hearing both of you say is two parts of the same cloth, right? So one is just having a schedule, whatever that is, and mapping it out, being flexible for what works for you. You know what works for your audience, right? Because if you're trying to reach key contacts or providers, you want to go when you're going to be well received, and you want to make phone calls when those are going to be answered and expected. So the more you can do to map it out, the more efficient your time becomes, right? Because you're self-directing. You're the quarterback of the whole thing, or should I say the shooting guard for the Knicks, for the whole thing, to make that happen. So really, really important. One of the things that Lauren mentioned earlier, and I just thought it's really important to touch on, because I don't think you guys have really expanded yet on what you bring to the table to help people with the transition. Lauren had mentioned surrounding yourself with the right people is big, right? So we surrounded ourselves with one another, right? And we helped build it up and created selling opportunities, created launches, helped with contracting, helped with funding, all the different components that can be hard to do just by yourself. We really work as a team. So we're a sort of a big umbrella of independent businesses partnering together to make one another better. And Mark and Lauren, you've been super successful in your own right, and as well with developing agents, right, and helping them in this transition. I would say our overall agency, our mantra is sort of, our expertise is helping people with this transition. And so, Lauren, maybe you can start and just share, how do you help create a partnership with agents that you bring on to help them not have a fast fail, right? To help them get on the right path to succeeding in this space.
So I think whenever you're starting anything new, and a lot of the agents that work with me are newer to the industry, there's a learning curve. So number one, you have to be, I'm flexible to people's personalities because everyone's personality and learning style is very, very different. So I have to be cognizant of that. That being said, pacing ourselves. So when you work for one company, you're only able to offer one particular plan. When you are an independent broker, you're now able to offer multiple plans. There are many broker managers and there are many people that work around the broker managers that have been very supportive. I think something as simple as attending networking events and the carrier meetings with the newer agents is a good way for me to show my appreciation to the broker managers as well as introduce these new brokers to them as well. And then I think that introduction alone, everyone's personality is going to mesh with different personalities differently. But I think that alone can help newer agents get into the door because these carriers, not all the time, but, for the most part, someone always has some sort of support to give as long as you are actually, you're giving them that same support back. So I just think the knowledge that I have, I don't know everything, but I'm also open to learning anything. So the knowledge that I have is pretty invaluable when it comes to somebody who doesn't know much about this industry. We offer meetings. We have meetings, we'll do 2-3 days a week if we need to. We'll have meetings with the team just to go over, are your systems in place? Do you need assistance with knowing something like how to complete an application properly, especially because each of the carriers have different platforms, and something as simple as just knowing the names of the platforms that are affiliated with each individual carrier. That in itself, it took me a while, but it's a lot of information and it's a lot of new information. So, even for me, I'm learning things every day. So I think just offering my knowledge and patience and just being like a source for people to go to if they have a question or if they just need support with helping set something up. They want to attend a meeting with me or they want me to attend a meeting with them. I just make myself available because at the end of the day, I just want, I think it's, if someone is a part of the team and they're succeeding, then I'm succeeding. And I naturally feed off of motivated people. So whenever I see someone who's striving to be better at something or learn something, to me, that's just for me, that's a natural motivator and just makes me
100%. What you made me get a vision of, Lauren, is like, you're a high school freshman, right? And you're trying to go to the party with all the seniors and you're just sitting in the corner and nobody's talking to you. But the most popular senior, Lauren, brings you to the party and introduces you to all her friends. And that transition is just so much smoother. Next thing you know, you're part of a winning team, right? And I think it's not to be discounted that relationships make a lot of this business. And so these introductions that you're speaking of, it's huge, right? Now you have to be motivated and do something with that. But that initial introduction is really key. Mark, what's your strategy? What's your philosophy in working with agents?
With agents like under?
As you bring them in, how do you help them?
I love teaching. So the first thing, I love doing home visits as well. The first thing is, hey, come along for the ride. Like, come on a ride along. Let's see the different situations that people have. And I think that hands-on is key right there. And I like it when, like to what Lauren said, like they're new to the industry because they don't bring any bad habits. All the habits that you're going to teach them is just good habits.
And mold right into the form, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, I love the hands-on approach, Mark. I mean, between what you're saying, a lot of this is relationships and nurturing that and seeing a path and seeing what you've done and emulating that, right? Why reinvent the wheel? Just morph it to make it your own. And then there's no replacement for that hands-on teaching to seeing it, right? So whether it's a home visit or shadowing an event or shadowing visits to key contacts or providers, those are big deals. And we talk about shadowing at the beginning. Even Mark, you're going back in the day, you just followed Lauren around for a few days, and next thing you know, you were an encyclopedia, right? Just like her. So it has, and that's how it really developed. So now, Mark, I guess question for you, if you were to think of this last 5 years and everything you've been through and launching your business and just watching you grow has been incredible for me. As you look back, what's your biggest aha? If you were to say, aha, this is what I know now as a business owner, what would you say that is?
Not to be scared to work with different people, because the rumor is in the industry, it's like a, dog eat dog world out there. But hey, we could all be friends. We could all, it's hard to throw business around, but help. What about help? Whatever happened to help? Hey, how do I do this? And I'm not talking about our like little clique. I'll talk about other, outside of our,
Anyone.
yeah, outside of the circle. I think that aha is just, and it's specific. Is not, it doesn't work with, I've tried it with some people and they don't want the help. They don't want to share, which is fine. But I think that's one of them. The second one is working with agencies that are able to help our clients without affecting us being their representative. I think that was great. Thanks.
Key content.
Yeah. And I think Lauren was the first one to get that aha, and then she shared it with us. They were like, aha, too.
Wonderful. Mark, one of the things I just wanted to touch on with what you're saying there is, well, a couple things. So you talked about networking within the business. And one of the things I see both you and Lauren do is maybe not everybody is receptive to helping others, but the two of you certainly are. And it's obviously you love to spend time with people who want to be your agents, but I'm on all these forums and I hear people talking about their brokers and it's like, can you believe they called me and they expect it to be for free? My time is so valuable, and your time is valuable, but I always see you guys paying it forward. There's no complaint factory about that. Anybody that you can help, you guys are giving, whether they turn out to work with you or not. And if they do, amazing, right? But sometimes people just need some guidance or a conversation, and I just appreciate that about both of you. And the same goes for those other industries. It's really just another form of that. How do we all help that person we care about, which is the senior, to get all the services and so forth that they need and are entitled to? So I think that's incredible. Lauren, what would you add? What aha would you share with everybody?
I think it's kind of similar to what we're saying. This industry isn't really about selling, even though we are considered brokers, sales agents. It's not about selling. It's about the relationships that you build, and not just amongst brokers, amongst broker partners, amongst the individuals that work with the carriers, but also with these organizations, because there is no shortage of people that are 65 or turning 65. So I think the more we realize it's more about relationship building, the more it'll automatically come to us, as long as your reputation maintains good. Like,
keep it good, keep it sharp, right? So absolutely, 100%. Well, you guys, as always, amazing to talk to you. I love what you bring to the table with everything you do. Mark, your 1-minute message to your audience out there, what do you want to take them home with?
Thank you for, taking the time to listen to this. I know we're not the most popular, it's not Drink Champs over here, but
Popular, come on.
I mean, our topic, the Medicare topic, but we are pushing it. My thing is reach out to someone, or if not us, if you want to learn about the industry. You never know. I was always told, hey, come on the Medicare side, and I was always on the property and casualty. I said, no, I'm good. And then now I'm looking like, I should have done this.
Should have done a story. That's the combination. It's the secret. Thanks, Mark. Lauren, what are you sending everybody home with, girl?
I think just bet on yourself. Don't let the fear of what might not be possible interfere with the limitless possibilities you could have if you just take a chance, because the job's always going to be there. We can always go get a job somewhere. There's no shortage. It might not be the company you were with, but you're going to find a job. But, you know, sometimes you only have one chance to do things. So do it. Take the leap. Do it.
Bet on yourselves, everybody. Well, Mark and Lauren, you guys are fabulous as always. Thanks so much for joining, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thanks.